But that's part of it, you see.
Yes.
Now there's young Somali fellows who are running for office, as well there should be.
Yeah.
And there are Latino people that are getting ready, like State
Yeah.
Senator Doris Ray came out of no place.
It's
Now
great
there
to see
she
that,
is.
isn't it? Ooh.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
But you don't get from here to there,
Yeah.
or from there to here, or whatever. You don't get there unless you have these sort of in-service episodes where
Okay.
people get to learn how you do it. I remember in 2006 when Keith Ellison was first elected. I was over at the Blue Nile Cafe at the close of the election day, and oh my, what a United Nations crowd that was!
Oh, good.
And somebody had a laptop so they could figure out how the count was going.
Yeah.
And I remember when, well, earlier, the Somali cab drivers had volunteered their services and their cabs to bring people to the polls. That had happened during the day. Now that evening, when it became clear that Keith had won, why, there was just pandemonium in the place, and one of the
Yeah,
most
it was
exciting
exciting.
parts was this young Somali guy who was just jumping up and down and just thrilled as punch. You know? That's America. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, but he hadn't gotten in office yet, but sorry.
No, but he was a
It's
true
little
believer.
tougher once they get in.
He was
to-
a true believer.
Yes,
this
exactly.
is what that the young Somalis who are of
Yes,
age
yeah,
consistently tell me about the need to persuade their younger set that it's really worth it to pay attention, that there is
Yes.
room for them
Yes.
in our future here in this country, in this town. So what we can do
excuse
to
me, I
encourage
was-
that is to just go ahead with these lovely reforms, which we have carefully put together for the
Yes.
consideration of the electorate
Yes.
in 3 short weeks from now.
3 short weeks from this minute.
I guess, yeah.
Yes, but when people are watching, possibly it will be closer.
Yeah, like 3 days.
But very important, everyone, to help
Thing-
get these, you know, to help get this voted in.
Yeah, and the thing was, it didn't come clear to the city council that they really wanted to take this step until rather late in the winter. And then it took time for the Charter Commission to decide they really wanted to get with the program. And then it took time, and all these things take time. And so we didn't get down to the actual drafting of the nitty-gritty about, well, what's this advisory committee? Is it just window dressing and then, you know, just prop them up over in the corner and, yeah, they helped, you betcha. And, you know, the usual suspects win again. No, this is real. But we didn't get into the drafting of what makes it real
Yeah.
until August. The actual 3 sessions that produced the final documents were written in September
Ah,
and then enacted at the October 6th meeting of the Charter Commission. There's no time left for a marketing campaign.
yes.
This is
Well,
it.
this can be
This
your
is it.
marketing campaign, Fred.
This is my,
well, this is part
This
of
is
it.
my two cents.
Yes.
And I've written extensively on Minneapolis issues and elsewhere. I think it's very important. To get back to something you were asking me about before we started,
Yes.
I have been an activist here in Minneapolis since 1970. Actually,
my.
1969.
Oh my.
And I
oh,
have
that's
always...
a long time ago.
Yeah, I know it is.
That's when my daughter was born.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking to
That's
kids that were
41
born...
years ago.
When I'm talking to kids that were born in 1980 or even 1960 or whatever, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. You know, I just... It drives me to realize that if I want to leave a legacy, I better get busy.
Yeah.
Because even if I last another 20 years, at age 92, because I'm 72 now, at age
Excuse
92, I
me.
spend most of my time sleeping.
I know it. No,
So,
these years just keep creeping out.
I just...
well, you are doing
gotta
a
be
great
serious.
deal, and you have done something. This can be part of your legacy, for sure. This new redistricting plan that
Well,
you've helped put together.
now, how much time have we got left?
Well, let's see. We have a good 20-some minutes.
Because here's another thought, a
Yeah.
different thought.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, it's very difficult for some of the Latino households
Yes.
to take involvement in our civic affairs seriously because they live in fear of the INS, the federal authorities that swoop in, look for illegal aliens, break up families, haul people off, you never see them again, all that kind of thing. That's one. And you know that lately we've had an incursion of the FBI, who, rather like the bad old days way back when,
Yes.
just show up and are really the blue meanies.
Oh my goodness. You're talking about the raids that happened.
Oh yeah, the raids.
What
Now,
a couple
here's
weeks
the
ago.
deal. I mean, I was up at River Falls.
And peace activists.
No, yes, I know. Now, I was up in River Falls in 1962. I was, since it took me 38 years to graduate from college, so mercy me. At least I graduated summa cum laude when I finally got around to
Excuse
it.
me.
But
Excuse me.
anyway, one of the episodes was up in River Falls in 1962,
Yeah.
and I met some of the faculty members up there, and they were describing to me how terrified they were during the McCarthy era, because the slightest little hint from somebody who didn't like them, and presto, they were under suspicion.
Yeah.
And their tenure and their lives and their careers were in jeopardy just like that. Okay, well, I remember that. Now, in 1965, 66, I was down in Madison, Wisconsin. I was a Republican caucus analyst for the majority caucus in the Wisconsin Senate. And that was the year that the 2S draft deferment protests started up around the campus down there. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again. But it happened that I was having my suppers with the fellows that were organizing these protests, who ate at the Green Lantern Eating Co-op, and so did I. So during the day, I would write absolutely stern language for State Senator Gordy Roselip, who thought J. Edgar Hoover walked on water and sure the campus was full of commies. And so he was a wonderful man, but he was a functional illiterate. I had to write all his copy for him. So I did. So I wrote all these perfectly harmless bromides about all those awful pinkos during the day, and then go and have supper with those very people that same evening and say, not to worry, you know, we're keeping it simple. But then one time they had a baby buggy parade that went around Capitol Square down there, and Evan Stark was in charge of this. And I was sitting at my desk in the Senate caucus room, and I saw the baby buggy parade going by. And that night at supper, I said to Evan, say, Evan, who could play the accordion, by the way? He could play Bach's Passacaglia and Fugue on the accordion. I should be so lucky. Anyway, I said, Evan, why don't you have those people come into the state capitol? Maybe have some of the friendly guys introduce some bills. You know, it's not like we're the enemy or something.
Yeah.
But he liked that publicity. He liked that. It's exciting, you know, to have publicity. But that was the start of what became my interest in running for office there in Madison. I ran for city council in Madison in 1967. We started a tenant union. We had everybody from the fraternities on the right to SDS on the left. Everybody was mad at the landlords. So it was a united front on a local issue where we were thinking globally, but we were acting locally. A mantra of the time.
Yes.
And it worked pretty well.
And act locally.
Well, we had a wonderful time. I was
Which
running.
is still a mantra.
Yeah,
of
I was
today.
running for city council at the time. I was camping out on somebody's couch in an apartment where the landlord did not want me there, but he didn't want their little cat. They had a little cat, and he did not want that little cat. But there, he not just got the cat, he got the guy that's running for city council that talked the city clerk and the legal people into permitting students to vote in local elections. That was a breakthrough. I threatened to go to federal court about it. And for the first time, students got to vote in local elections. So you had to kind of watch the step around me. And I never did pay rent in that place. But I protected the cat. And through the cat, the kids. And through the kids, up the line it goes. And pretty soon we have this cause celeb all about that little cat.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. It was quite an exciting time. And it was harmless. 2 years later, I'm out in New York And I'm
Yeah.
watching, I'm getting messages from my friends back in Madison that they can't go to work at the university because the streets are full of tear gas
Yep.
and bonfires and National Guard
Yep, and
people.
the year
and
is-
then that somebody blew up the math research building and killed somebody.
know, it's-
Well,
And
it
this
got out of
year,
hand.
For the audience, reminding us, what year are we on?
That was 67, 68, 69.
67, 68.
I watched
exactly.
I watched the police riot in Chicago in 1968
Yeah.
from the safety of a television
Yep,
shed
I was around
in
too.
in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
out of harm's way. The night that Martin Luther King was killed, I was due to go to Bedford-Stuyvesant to pick up a young African-American
Yeah.
employee
That's where I was in those
of
years
mine,
also.
who I had gotten hired as a clerk in our back office in our Wall Street firm. It's the first time the black man got hired in a Wall Street firm. I didn't even realize it at the time. Anyway, I was going
It
out.
was?
Yeah, I was going out to his parents' place to pick him up because we were going to go to a Janis Joplin and one of the famous blues singers concert that night. And of course,
Yeah, she
word
was still
came
around
through.
then.
Yeah, Whiskey City. Anyway, talk about cold as ice on that subway going out there to Bed-Stuy.
Yep.
White as I am, boy, I had to really want to do that
I worked
because
for the city welfare department, and I had Bedford-Stuyvesant as part of my caseload. Brownsville and Bedford-Stuyvesant. And I used to drive. Right.
through the heart of it.
Yes, I know what you mean about going out there and being
Tell
very
you.
white. Yes.